ouvido?
Tudo
Confirmas,
ok,
Inês?
confirmo.
Ok, perfeito. Então, bom dia a todos e obrigado por estarem aqui presentes em mais um webinar organizado pela NOS. Hoje, com o foco da transformação digital na saúde e no setor público. Temos aqui presentes connosco para partilhar a sua visão e a sua opinião sobre esta transformação digital, a Pilar Torres, que é responsável por setor público de Portugal e Espanha, e que nos vai falar sobre como é que a AWS pode suportar esta transformação neste setor. E, posteriormente, o Carlos Jovem, que é responsável pela área de saúde para toda a Ibéria e nos vai partilhar connosco um pouco daquilo que a AWS já tem feito numa componente de inovação também para este setor. Da minha parte, eu gostaria de partilhar com vocês aquilo que é a estratégia da NOS naquilo que é esta nova jornada de transformação. Tal como as empresas portuguesas de maiores variados setores, sejam eles, em caso em particular, naquilo que nos traz hoje na saúde ou no setor público, nós próprios estamos num processo de transformação e nesse processo de transformação também como é que nós o estamos a pensar para os nossos clientes. Portanto, sem mais demoras, eu iria passar para aquilo que eu gostaria de partilhar aqui hoje com vocês. Portanto, dentro de um conceito daquilo que é a estratégia cloud da NOS e o caminho que nós preconizamos para aquilo que é o setor empresarial e voltando um pouco atrás sobre aquilo que são as tendências e analisando as tendências do que está a acontecer no nosso mercado e também percebendo padrões de comportamento e de evolução que está a acontecer de uma forma geral pelo mundo inteiro. Olhando aquilo que o relatório do IDC Insight 2018 já preconizava, estamos a falar de um relatório já com 2 anos de execução, percebemos que já em 2018, num estudo realizado com uma larga escala, percebemos que já 73% dessas organizações já tinham de alguma forma um serviço cloud e que 84% delas já estava a preconizar que iria trabalhar no futuro num conceito multi-cloud. E num conceito multi-cloud, podendo passar por uma solução de cloud privada, on-prem ou através de algum operador, como também na abstração e na utilização de clouds públicas. Portanto, criando aqui um novo cenário de híbrido cloud, um novo cenário de multi-cloud, em que 59% das empresas responderam que até 2022 esperariam estar a usar maioritariamente os seus serviços em public cloud. Isto mostra-nos ou permite-nos perceber que a adoção para o cloud, a adoção da cloud em si, está-se a tornar um imperativo, mas que mais que um imperativo tem sido um enabler que está a permitir às organizações acelerar a sua transformação e aquilo que todos nós esperamos, prosperar economicamente. Essencialmente, nós temos aqui dois tipos de drivers. O driver de negócio, porque substitui grandes investimentos que pudessem existir naquilo que é a reestruturação, muitas vezes, das suas arquiteturas por um conceito de agilidade e rapidez e com uma otimização cada vez maior sobre aquilo que são os seus custos, e um driver claramente tecnológico, porque estamos aqui a simplificar e a padronizar infraestruturas, estamos a ter maior capacidade de resposta àquilo que são as necessidades de negócio, cada vez esse mais volátil, e também acesso a competências e a serviços especializados ou cada vez mais especializados. Aquilo que se prevê e que se espera e que é a nossa visão sobre a adoção de uma solução híbrida ou multi-cloud é que a experiência de alguma forma tem que ser consistente. Portanto, quando nós estamos a evoluir de um conceito de on-prem para posteriormente cloud privada, agora a adoção de uma cloud pública, vamos chegar claramente a um cenário, a um estado em que iremos estar a trabalhar num conceito multi-híbrido cloud. E isso só é possível através de uma utilização unificada, através de uma experiência consistente entre estas várias dimensões, né? Clouds privadas, públicas, infraestruturas tradicionais. Dessa forma, e tendo como scope e tendo como endgame, digamos assim, aquilo que é esta experiência multi-hybrid cloud, a NOS preparou um plano de resposta a estas necessidades, passando por várias dimensões. Começando pelo aquilo que é a dimensão mais básica, aquilo que nós hoje trabalhamos e aquilo que é o ponto de partida das organizações. Portanto, soluções que estão carentes de data centers, soluções que estão necessitadas de alojamento físico, e daí preparando um ecossistema data centers, todos eles de Tier 3 Compliance, em que permite entregar aos nossos clientes 4 data centers no território nacional e um nas ilhas, mais propriamente nos Açores. Data centers esses interligados com uma rede de alto débito e de baixa latência. Em alguns cenários, como conseguimos perceber, até por uma inspeção desta imagem, conseguimos criar cenários de alta redundância de ativo a ativo em algumas geografias, e permitindo que os nossos clientes tenham flexibilidade, orquestração e automação através de arquiteturas de SDN. Portanto, entrega aquilo que é um primeiro nível sobre a presença física e a necessidade de ter um espaço físico para alavancar aquilo que são as infraestruturas. Era necessariamente, ou era obrigatório, mandatório, garantir que dotaríamos essas infraestruturas com conectividade. E esta conectividade garantindo que há uma interligação, que é criada um anel entre aquilo que são os polos principais data centers da NOS, tanto a norte como a sul, e com isto uma interligação daquilo que nós nominamos um serviço NAS Cloud Connect, permitindo fazer a interligação àquilo que são as maiores clouds públicas que operam no mundo. Portanto, permitindo assim dotar uma maior conectividade cloud to cloud, altamente segura para transferência eficiente entre dados da cloud pública e a cloud privada, e com ligações que hoje já permitem interessar entre os simples 50 megabits por segundo até aos 10 gigabits por segundo, permitindo assim aos nossos clientes que queiram fazer este caminho para a cloud e que estejam num momento de transformação, poderem se interligar às clouds públicas num ecossistema híbrido em que as ligações continuam a ser privadas e seguras daquilo que é a nossa visão de conectividade tradicional, mas também ao mesmo tempo interagir com estas cloud públicas com data centers eficientes e de última geração, podendo colocar os seus workloads ou podendo colocar as suas infraestruturas nestes data centers. Mas como este processo de interligação também está dependente da maior capacidade de comunicação com aquilo que são os serviços da cloud pública, a NOS também fez um investimento no sentido de se dotar de capacidade e dos melhores serviços de interligação com a cloud pública. Daí ter aparecido há sensivelmente 2 semanas o anúncio daquilo que a NOS era a primeira empresa, o primeiro operador da Península Ibérica a ter uma solução de Outpost dentro dos nossos data centers, portanto em território nacional, que permite fazer esta integração nativa com aquilo que são os nós públicos de uma AWS, dando aos nossos clientes a experiência normal de todos os serviços que estão hoje disponíveis nesta cloud pública, mas à distância geográfica dentro do nosso território nacional. Isto numa componente de edge computing, digamos, trazer os nós computacionais que hoje conhecemos de uma forma geral daquilo que é a rede pública da AWS para Portugal, permite, de alguma forma, dar um overhead de serviços muito interessantes para os nossos clientes. Essencialmente, reduzindo qualquer impacto que pudesse existir do ponto de vista aplicacional com latências, e ao mesmo tempo respondendo a temas regulatórios que acontecem muitas vezes, seja num conceito do setor da saúde, do setor público ou inclusive do setor financeiro, sobre a sensibilidade dos dados das nossas operações e eventualmente saírem do nosso território. Portanto, este conceito de edge computing permite entregar aos nossos clientes a flexibilidade e elasticidade de uma cloud pública, igualmente, ter uma gestão integrada naquilo que é o seu negócio, portanto, uma integração natural, normal, entre aquilo que é os serviços que tenham hoje a correr em AWS e necessidades aplicacionais sobre sistemas que tenham necessidade de estar sobre o nosso solo ou de proximidade geográfica. Portanto, colmatando assim o tema da latência, que era claramente, podia ser claramente um problema, e ao mesmo tempo acrescentar aqui uma variável adicional que é aquilo que nós consideramos que pode ser também uma otimização de custos do ponto de vista de custos que estão normalmente indexados, de transferência de dados, de sincronização, em que os custos ou a transferência de dados que possam ocorrer entre as vossas instalações e o próprio Outpost, portanto este conceito de Edge Computing, estão naturalmente absorvidos por aquilo que é a nossa solução, não tendo aqui custos adicionais para as operações dos nossos clientes. Se quisermos resumir aquilo que é uma estratégia da Public Cloud, aquilo que é o nosso objetivo final é poder providenciar aos nossos clientes, aos nossos utilizadores e aos nossos clientes, sejam eles de PMEs ou de corporate, uma visão unificada sobre uma Cloud Management Platform que pode integrar com o vosso ecossistema on-prem, que pode integrar com conceitos de cloud privadas, sejam eles prestadas pela nós ou soluções próprias vossas, e uma integração com uma cloud pública. Esta estratégia de híbrido cloud, vai permitir responder de uma forma mais resumida, ser um conceito de transformação pivotal que vai permitir ter maior complementaridade, portanto, permitindo que vocês consigam interligar entre vários providers, mas que tenham o desafio de uma maior sofisticação na orquestração, garantir que não existe no vendor lock-in, portanto, nós queremos acompanhar-vos nesta estratégia de going to the cloud, mas não estão necessariamente presos a esse caminho e, portanto, há um caminho evolutivo desde as vossas instalações on-prem até ao conceito final de Public Cloud, sendo que aqui há a vantagem de ter a arquitetura continuamente escalável, vão crescendo sobre aquilo que têm hoje até um conceito de Public Cloud. A componente da geografia e da continuidade do negócio, portanto, fazendo aqui o edging do risco pelas várias geografias, com desafios ao nível do desenho e arquitetura das aplicações, portanto, temos claro de que as próprias aplicações, quer as nossas, que hoje a nós está a fazer uma migração desses workloads, quer os nossos clientes, terão que passar por um processo de transformação também entre elas, e do ponto de vista financeiro também, permitindo tirar partido desta competitividade das ofertas, mas que trazendo aqui complexidade também aos modelos de consumo. Este conceito de multi-hybrid cloud permite potenciar, e estou mesmo a terminar, portanto, permite potenciar desde oportunidades e soluções de Big Data, pelo facto de podermos claramente reduzir aquilo que é um TCO normal, entre 40% e 80% dos custos que nós teríamos para podermos trabalhar estas oportunidades e podermos trabalhar estes dados, pelo investimento associado, pelo conceito de Consume as a Service, portanto, posso indexar claramente uma necessidade que preciso trabalhar sobre os meus dados, sem ter que necessariamente fazer um investimento associado a ele e consumi-lo naquele momento. Uma forma mais rápida e ágil de fazermos machine learning, portanto, não estamos necessitados, mais uma vez, de fazer grandes investimentos tecnológicos e podemos literalmente surfar aquilo que é o desenvolvimento de competências e de serviços que hoje a Public Cloud nos fornece. E a capacidade de fazermos depois uma análise única destes dados através de um conceito de serverless scale e que conseguimos interligar as diferentes sources com que hoje trabalhamos. Além do Big Data, podemos falar também de oportunidades como oportunidades de Platform as a Service, portanto, de um conceito transformacional. Hoje já nós interessando a alguns clientes neste conceito de Sapana, num combinado transformação da operação, mas já suportados num conceito de cloud pública, portanto, conseguir também surfar aquilo que é a evolução tecnológica de arquiteturas já previamente testadas e definidas, surfar também o conceito da modernização e transformação que estes public clouds estão a trazer com as suas infraestruturas, e ter um acesso aplicacional a um SAP ou uma infraestrutura SAP também, que é compliance naquilo que a aplicação o exige, num conceito as a service, sem o impacto do investimento normal e o investimento normal de equipamentos e posteriormente certificação destas próprias aplicações. De uma forma resumida, Porque nós, como parceiro de híbrido cloud, public cloud, ou mesmo num conceito futuro de multi-cloud, pelo facto de nós hoje termos parcerias com os principais providers de cloud pública, com especial ênfase para a AWS e aquilo que tem sido o nosso caminho de Journey to the Cloud e de Edge Computing com a AWS, pelo facto de podermos complementar estas soluções de ligação às public clouds com Edge Computing, com soluções de cloud privada, no caso do Outpost, pelo facto de termos uma rede de alto débito e de capilaridade que permite suportar a ligação a estes cloud providers, pelo facto de termos uma segurança lógica natural de um conceito de operador integrado em todas estas soluções, e também pelo ecossistema de parceiros com que hoje trabalhamos e que, além das competências internas nestas tecnologias, permitindo fazer um serviço end-to-end, a nós hoje tem parcerias estabelecidas com os Tier 1 de Service Providers ou de Managed Service Providers reconhecidos por qualquer uma destas Public Clouds. Esta era a partilha que eu queria fazer com vocês sobre aquilo que é a visão da NOS e sobre aquilo que nós estamos hoje a operacionalizar e a querer disponibilizar para os nossos clientes. E passaria agora para a Pilar, que nos vai partilhar connosco aquilo que é a visão e os serviços que a AWS conseguem disponibilizar para os clientes do setor público. Pilar, não sei se já estás aqui comigo.
Sim, sim. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure I have the control of my slides at the moment. That's okay. I'm taking.
Yeah, I pass it back.
I'm taking control now. Okay, I need to see a little arrow that I don't see at the moment. I have to say.
Just click it on the presentation, then you should see the arrows. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So, bom dia a todos. Eu não falo português, então eu vou mudar para o inglês. So, thank you very much. I'm Pilar Torres. I'm the head of public sector in Amazon Web Services for Portugal and Spain, and I'm delighted to be here with you today. My background is sunny. It's not sunny where I am, but this is the miracle of technology these days. So let me start by presenting who AWS is. AWS is a company under the umbrella of Amazon that very much shares the innovator DNA in the company, but a very set of very special, I would say, principles that guides everything that we do, which is to put the customer first. Second, invent and then be patient, because innovation, invent and then innovation, and it always comes overnight. It takes a process. It takes time to prove the benefits, but having the mission clear and the view in the long term clear, typically things move forward. An invention requires two things, according to our CEO. The ability to try a lot of experiments, because innovation and invention are not bulletproof. So you really need to be open to test new things until you find what's best for your needs and for your environment and for your customers. But the cost of these adjustments need to be manageable. So we used to say at Amazon that fail fast, fail cheap is super important, and we don't consider failure as a failure in the negative sense, but as a learning point to better improve what we do every day. We started with books. The CTO of Amazon uses to say that Amazon is a technology company that incidentally started selling books. And what I want to share with this quote is that technology is what really has the ability to transform every business and every part of our society for the good. And how we apply this innovation to multiple areas is what makes us very unique. And these areas of Amazon business are mostly supported from an infrastructure perspective by AWS. So AWS is the underlying technology enabling all these businesses. How did AWS start? So we started 14 years ago in 2006, offering cloud infrastructure to the market, to the world. But this was only when Amazon had tested this technology in their own flesh, because Amazon had a very unique need. They had the need to scale up and down in very specific moments in time along the year. For instance, Black Friday, that we are so close to, or Christmas season, or Prime Day. So this, from an infrastructure perspective, is a very, very big challenge, because either you provision for the peak and you waste a lot of money during the rest of the year, or if you're under dimensioned, undersized for these peaks, you will not be able to serve these customers in these critical moments. So Amazon saw that they needed a very scalable infrastructure that could go up and down very, very quickly, very fast, with the real-time needs, and most importantly, that could be deployed as a software. Because deploying infrastructure is really time consuming. The cycle to implement a new service could be 6 to 9 months between you size the need, you buy the hardware, you install it, you provision, you test it, you deploy it. 6 to 9 months. And the speed of change for our customers to serve our customer needs was much faster. So this agility and speed of innovation was what created AWS, and this is where we are today. So I used to say that we are a technology company, but born from a real life business need. And this is our definition of the cloud: is the on-demand delivery of IT resources with zero upfront cost, no long-term contracts, and pay as you go. And for us, these are very three important elements here. In AWS Cloud, if you consume $1, you pay for $1. If you consume 1 cent, you pay for 1 cent. If you start using this service, you don't pay until you use it again. And this flexibility and this agility is what our millions of customers appreciate the most. Why organizations are moving so fast to cloud? Because we started with some statistics of how the market sees this technology, and you could see that the high majority has cloud as part of their strategy and have this combination of what's best for them with cloud included. As I said before, agility is the number one. Many customers would be attracted by the cloud, by the cost reduction element, which is super important because you only pay for what you use. But the true differentiator, the unique element here, is the agility, because you can provision in minutes, literally in minutes. I know a customer who could start a COVID-related application in less than 1 week to have it fully in production, a new service that had not been delivered before. And it could do it in the wake of the pandemic and serve millions of citizens in less than 1 week. This is the unique value proposition of the cloud. The choice of cloud services, because we are really innovating very fast. We have thousands of innovations every year in our services. More than 90% of them coming directly from our customer feedback. Scale quickly. How we can predict what the workload of a certain solution will be. So will it be consumed by hundreds, by thousands, or by millions? And be able to serve those changing needs. And then the global reach. So in minutes, you can be offering your services anywhere in the world. What makes us different? As I said, we invented the cloud. Cloud was not a term in vogue those days. So AWS was more, from a naming perspective, leaning to the web services, because we are a service. We offer this infrastructure as a service, and more than 175 services, and I'll show you some of them in a bit. The innovation and the speed that we innovate with, our global presence has been only growing since our inception. We have regions with data centers that operate in a high redundant mode with availability zones, but we also have local points of presence to accelerate the delivery of certain services, the latency reduction, and we have one of these points of presence in Portugal. Our price approach is customer oriented. So each time we gain a scale efficiency, we pass it on to our customers. We have close to 90 at the moment, proactive price reduction in our services, and we will continue to do so. And then our community is huge. Along these 14 years, we have one of the largest partner communities in the world with ISV solutions and consulting partners such as NOS that can provide these high value added services for our customers in each market. This is a view of our local global presence. These yellow names are the regions that are in the horizon, in the roadmap for a short-term launch. In the European Union, you can see we have a number of regions that can be used by any customer, public, private, as of now. Dublin, Frankfurt, Milan, Paris, Stockholm. We announced a region in Spain upcoming in the end of 2022. But as I said, we have a point of presence at the moment in Portugal that can provide benefits to certain applications. And we have this Outpost value proposition that we are announcing jointly with NOS today. What our services are organized, I said more than 175 services, that's a lot, but these are the big categories. How our services are gathered. Infrastructure is only one box here. And when you see 7 services, we have here instances, compute instances, we have storage, but we have other areas here that can be incredibly valuable for our customers. For instance, machine learning and artificial intelligence, because of the strategic transformation of the digitalization is coming around these high-end area services that you can see here, and then how all these services are connected, because they are not separate silos. Everything works cohesively in AWS, with security and compliance as our number one priority. Public sector customers, we have millions of customers across the world in all sizes, types, in governments, in healthcare. One of them is, for instance, NHS, the UK National Healthcare Service. They are running more than 40 million patient records on AWS. And one of the elements that decided them in favor of AWS was the ability to be prepared to multiply by 10 if they needed the workload and the demand of these solutions. And this is something that the cloud is very well prepared to provide. In Portugal, we are aware that important elements for you are the cost control and the quality, how to buy these solutions with the existing procurement vehicles and processes, how to avoid locking. And this is a very, very important point. So in this respect, our services are based on open source standards. And we have a number of elements or services that can help you get into our cloud, or move to another platform should you choose to do so. Only for data transfer, we have several services that can provide different mechanisms to upload information on the cloud, download information from the cloud, and move to other platforms. For database migration, for instance, we also have multiple services to move to cloud data database services, or to exit this cloud and move to a different solution based on your needs. And then security, compliance, and data sovereignty. Security and compliance is definitely our number one task. And we offer multiple services by default in the platform that will allow you to be very, very secure. It's a journey. You don't go to bed in a non-cloud and then you wake up and you are suddenly in the cloud. This is a journey of identifying the right entry points or solutions that can benefit from these cloud advantages, and to do it hand in hand with a plan on how to migrate, how to train the people, how to combine your solutions in the cloud with your existing solutions. And this is where we believe that the partnership with NOS really provides a very unique value to the Portuguese market. What are the applications that need to remain on premises? Because sometimes, although multiple companies are moving to an all-in-the-cloud strategy, there are certain situations where real-time needs require, for instance, having the data next to you, really next to you, or process data locally, or certain preferences or security demands of certain workloads. And in these scenarios, for instance, to have these elements all mapped is where Outpost can really bring a different element in this hybrid cloud strategy. Outpost was launched by AWS in order to provide a solution for our customers, listening to them. Certain customers required single millisecond latency. For instance, trading markets in real time, or manufacturing, real-time manufacturing, or medical diagnose in real time, or different services that really require this compute and storage and the other services next in your data center, but then without losing any of the advantages of the cloud that I mentioned before. And this is why we see Outpost being adopted more and more as a complement to this cloud strategy in our customers, which is managed by AWS, but provides the full advantage of the cloud. In summary, we want to present today how Outpost can be the element that can solve or help solve the needs of these low latency data sovereignty or data localization to process certain solutions, but without losing any of the elements and the advantage of the cloud. And in summary, to be a contributor to your accelerated pace of innovation, always with NOS as a partner. Thank you so much. Handing over to you, Rui.
Hey, thank you, Pilar. So now I'm going to pass it back to Carlos.
Hello, thank you. Good morning.
Hello.
I'm Carlos. Can you hear me well, right?
Yes, very well.
I'm Carlos Jove, as we has named before. I'm leading the healthcare market in Iberia. And today I will basically tell you what we are doing in this market, what trends are we seeing, and how AWS and AWS and NOS and the Outpost solution can help you. So first of all, as Pilar mentioned before, we've been working in the cloud. We built the cloud 14 years ago. 7 years ago, we created this vertical technology practice called Healthcare and Life Science, and it's composed by specific people with specific knowledge in every vertical we have, from chief data officer, physician, nurses, chief medical officers, biochemists, pharmacologists, or anything you can have. The objective of this is to be able to provide you with the knowledge we have around technology, but also with the knowledge you need around the vertical of healthcare. And the average experience from this team, it's around 17 years of healthcare experience. Regarding compliance, Pilar has mentioned before that security and compliance is our priority number one in AWS. Regarding healthcare, it's even more important. So it's important for you to know that more than 100 services are HIPAA compliant, even if it's not mandatory in Europe. It's important to know that HIPAA is one of our priorities. Also, high trust. We have more than 120 services compliant with high trust, and we are also GDPR compliant. And give you the ability to use our technology to also enable your compliance with GDPR. That is also interesting. Regarding healthcare, Pilar also mentioned that we aim to be the most customer-obsessed company in the world. So when we are talking about healthcare customers, are the patients. We are the customers for every healthcare provider. Right? So we see healthcare as a global ecosystem, considering patients as the customer, but also government entities as providers, and also researchers, but also payers in private healthcare or insurers, and also private providers like private clinics or dental clinics or whatever provider you think on, but also nonprofits or NGOs, and an important part with these vendors. We know that healthcare is a special market where vendors, ISVs, and medical devices are really important, because we do not buy a build technology, or you in healthcare, you don't build technology, you buy the technology from these providers. And this is also a good partnership we made with them. Regarding references, we've got references in all of them, but probably the more important one is these ISVs like GE, Philips, or Ambra, for example. Here in Iberia, Genomics or Medictor, for example. They are ISV providers that help you to have your specific solution around whatever you need in the cloud. Regarding the trends we are seeing in AWS and healthcare, basically they can be summarized in three different parts. The first part is IT cloud transformation. We has told around this before. He has talked about hybrid cloud, which is something we are seeing. We are seeing moving some workloads to the cloud because they are more agile, or you can innovate faster. But also big data. He really also talked about big data before, and this is something we are also seeing in AWS, and something that is built by healthcare entities in the cloud. The second pillar will be around machine learning that we also mentioned before. We are seeing machine learning in two different phases. The first one should be predicting healthcare relevant events in a clinical way, but also in a non-clinical way. So we are talking about, I don't know, probably knowing how, now with COVID, we've got some hospitals here in Spain predicting how many ICUs will be used in the next 3 or 4 days, for example. But also we can use machine learning to predict if cancer is willing to appear or not in the following. So it's clinical and non-clinical innovation. And also we are seeing, and we are seeing even more and more in the last month, a move from reactive way of managing patients to a proactive way of managing patients. And hospitals and providers are working on personalizing the health journey for patients, so they are owners of their health instead of just managing it reactively. Some examples around the first IT transformation pillar, for example, could be data exchange. Data exchange is a service we have that basically allows you to create a distribution channel for your data. If you've got, for example, a bunch of images from a disease, I don't know, whatever disease you work with, you can just put on an S3 bucket and just share it with any researcher around the world or pharma around the world, so they can use it for innovation and research. And you can even put a price, so they are able to pay you for this sharing data or not, if you are in an ecosystem where you want to share the data for innovation, for example, inside the country. Another example around this IT transformation is that we've been working with one government in Spain to virtualize during the COVID-19 pandemic in March, or the start of the pandemic. We've been working with them to virtualize the EMR, the electronic medical records, so doctors that were tested positive and nurses that were tested positive were able to work from home if they were asymptomatic, and they can help the doctors that were working at the hospitals implementing or writing the records they need. Another example around this could be Orion Health. If you don't know them, they do population intelligence. Cerner also does population intelligence. Epic from EMR, they all are based on the cloud and AWS. And one important also reference here in IT transformation is Change. Change Healthcare is the biggest provider in the States. And what they are doing is they are building the interoperability platform to be and to work with the different payers and patients, so everyone knows how a claim is being processed and in what state it is in every minute. So they have built the interoperability platform based on FHIR on AWS. We also have developed open source, as Pilar mentioned before. We work mainly on open source technology. We developed an open source serverless solution for implementing FHIR on AWS that is named FHIRWorks on AWS. Regarding the analytics pillar that we mentioned before, it's important to know or to understand why machine learning and why machine learning for AWS in healthcare. Some numbers are 81% of deep learning cloud runs on AWS, and 85% of TensorFlow projects in the cloud runs also in AWS. We have tens of thousands of customers using machine learning on AWS. And this is basically because we've got the broadest and deepest set of AI and machine learning capabilities. This means that we talked about compliance before, about HIPAA. Every service is HIPAA compliant here. But it's not only on having machine learning, but having the broadest catalog of infrastructure, talking about FGPAs or CPUs of inferencia chips, if you are wondering to manage infrastructure, but also having a platform like SageMaker that will allow you to lower the TCO and innovate faster, 10 times faster, as we mentioned here before. And also being able to interact with the rest of the platform, not only having machine learning, but using your data lakes that we mentioned before, or using your extracts from the EMR that you can have, so you are able to give more insights on your data. And that's why everyone is choosing AWS here. And it's not only important to know the infrastructure part or the platform part that we mentioned before with SageMaker, but also that we have several artificial intelligence services that will help you implement AI in a fast way only with an API call. And let's see how healthcare is using this type of services. First of all, for example, Amazon Recognition. Amazon Recognition is our image recognition service in artificial intelligence service. Basically, we've got hospitals bringing images or CT images to the cloud and understanding if they've got personal data or not, so they can share it with researchers or other entities. If there's any personal information, they are able to know where it is and just to erase it, so they can share the information. Another example is Extract. Extract is an AI service that basically extracts data from medical forms, but extracting is not the value. The value is basically analyzing what that data is and creating key value pairs. So you know what is a name and you can put it on a database as a name, or you know what is a date or what is an address or a city, and you can have pairs so you can include it on your database without having a manual intervention. Another example is Comprehend Medical. Comprehend Medical is a service we launched last year that basically extract entities and understand free text on a medical record. You can have demographics, you can have disease indicators, or a medical name, or diagnosis and symptoms, and you are able from free text to understand what it's written there. And also you can codify it in ICD-10 or RX norm nomenclatures. Another example is around machine learning. We are seeing, for example, Axel 3D is an ISV that works with us. They are building 3D printing models from 2D CT scans. So when a doctor just has a 2D scan, they can show it on the screen. But if they receive a 3D printed image, they can see exactly where the disease is. And what they have found is that 50% of the doctors that were using this technology changed radically the way they were doing a surgery. And 45% of the rest change how they will be delivering that specific surgery so they can do it faster. Another example of ML during the COVID analysis here in the Netherlands, we've got a machine learning algorithm that is able to predict COVID and to know if a lung scan it has COVID and what the status of the disease is. And last but not least, around these three pillars is patient journey. The first thing we are seeing is voice. We are seeing a lot of inclusion of voice around how we healthcare providers and payers are interacting with patients. And some example, Pilar mentioned before, NHS. NHS has some example of Amazon Connect. Amazon Connect is our ML contact center that basically engage with Lex, our chatbot. They were able to reduce by 40% the calls that the service was receiving, and they were able to save $650,000 per year around this. And the important thing is that agents that were working in NHS also feel more proactive and really like better the job because they feel they were helping people and not only answering similar things every day. Another example of patient interaction is in healthcare. In healthcare is a remote patient monitoring service in the UK. What they have built is a multi-channel engagement model where they are able to analyze what is the best approach for each customer. So if they've got a patient that is old and they only have a phone number, they call them. But if their daughter has the app and they demonstrated that the app has been downloaded and is used, we send a push notification. So around communication, there's been doing a lot. Also during the pandemic, we've seen several governments, Pilar mentioned before, several governments in Spain, for example, building apps or building contact centers in days to inform people. And regarding genomics and precision medicine, that is something that it's really included in this patient journey and being owner of your health. Illumina, if you know, Illumina is the leader in DNA sequencing. All the pipeline sequencing software they build is built on AWS, and they use our technology due to the capacity of growth and parallelization that they can do in the cloud. Also, another example is Mimia, and they improve from 20 hours to 3 hours to sequence a genome. So they are innovating and researching faster, where it's also important by using the cloud. And these are the three pillars I mentioned to you, but why Outpost is important for healthcare? Basically, we and Pilar has mentioned it before. First thing is latency. When you are in a hospital and you need an IoT or you are doing a surgery with new devices, you need low latency solutions, you need edge computing in the hospital for that. Or if you need to have or to process personal information or personal health information, you need edge computing in your location. So this is why it's important. Some examples what we are seeing in the market is, for example, PACS imaging. We are seeing providers implementing Outpost for the first stages of PAC imaging, so they are able to analyze and understand the images and then move it to the cloud once they are not useful or they are already used. And another one is around 3D molecules or VR or AR images in medical images. So we are seeing when they need low latency, or we mentioned IoT medical surgeries, they are also using Outpost. And this is all I want to tell you today. So giving back to Rui for the questions.
Thank you very much, Carlos. So that's what was our last presentation of the day. So we can now officially open the questions and answers slot. So Inês, I don't know if you already have questions from our audience that you can share with us, and where we will try to answer all of them.
Yes, I have a couple of questions. Maybe this time I will speak in English to be easier. So one of the questions that that appears in Q&A is, what are the benefits of Outposts in a hybrid cloud strategy? I think both of you.
Yeah, I believe that we can both answer it. So I will try to answer it on the scope of our strategy from NOS Communications, and then I will pass it by to Pilar or Carlos to give their scope of the AWS. So in terms of NOS Communications, we believe that Outposts is very important for a guarantee that you have a smooth transition to public cloud. So Outpost guarantees to the end customers secure and feasible connection to the public cloud, so you don't have to do it only by internet, but also guarantees an image of private cloud near your facilities, or near to the operations that you are having. So having an Outpost in Portugal can guarantee to our customers that you can at the same time use the public services that AWS has already launched, but with the guarantee that you can lock your data on Portugal, and also define a different level of applications that you can run locally. So cutting out the problem that you can have with older applications, it's the latency. So you can have the most critical applications running near your office, near your operations, so very short, and also guarantee that in terms of legal matters that you also can control where your data is. So you have two main things for running it on the short term. It's latency and data protection, and you have on the long term that you can create a simple and ongoing migration strategy that you can be transforming your applications to be supported by the public cloud services. So I don't know if you want to add anything, Pilar or Torres, about these questions.
I think you said it all. You said it all. So thank you very much for highlighting these points. Not much to add here. It's finding the right environment where Outpost can really bring this value of latency, data protection. Security is embedded in all the services, and then be this path for migration in the future without having to compromise having this infrastructure fully operated by AWS with NOS, and being able to I would say start modernizing certain services that we know are key for the future with new technologies.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Carlos, I believe the next question should be answered by you. Is this 3D technology, the technology presented in here, used in dental clinics?
Yes, yes, I've shown this technology. I see CT scans in 3D. Use probably, I don't know if they are talking about the Outpost 3D or axial, but both can be used. The 3D printing technology can be used for every illness you have. It basically use CT scans in 2D. They've got a machine learning algorithm, and what they do is simulating or printing a 3D model that is a real simulation of what you've got in this case in dental. So they are able to provide to doctors with the best approach or understanding of what's happening. So they reduce, as I mentioned, the time. And regarding the VR or AR solution that we are seeing in Outpost, for example, you can do it. The benefit of 3D or AR or VR in Outpost is latency, is when you need to do something really, really with low latency and real time. And that's where you should be using Outpost for that. It could be used in dental for sure, but probably it's not around what vertical needle work specifically you've got on healthcare. Could be around, the decisions would be around if it's real time or not. What do you need?
Thank you, Carlos. I'll ask the last question, also because we are running out of time. Rui, maybe for you, how can NOS help out in this migration process?
Okay, so NOS can help our customers in this migration process by the experience that we have achieved in development this Outpost in Portugal. It was a very challenging project to learn and to investigate how to integrate all these services. So guarantee that that's the experience that we have achieved. The second one, nevertheless, this experience. The second one is a high competence team. So we have a lot of professionals that certified in this technology that can help our customers. And the third one, the experience. So we have already helped some customers doing this migration to the public cloud. So I believe that we can say that we can use this experience to help another customers. And the fourth one, I believe that we can, like the description that Pilar said earlier before, is that the cloud is a service that you have requested, that you don't have no upfront fees, that you don't have no surprise, that you consume what you use. So trying to use that same concept, we can say that NOS can allow customers to use this experience on the Outpost and to experiment the Outpost before making any decisions. So one of the things that I'd like to say and to let it have it with you guys before you go is that if you are experienced or if you are considering the transformation, and if this kind of services is the thing that you think that could help you, challenge us, because we can allow you to experiment, you can allow you to test if that's the best solution for you, and only make the shift when we are comfortable with that. So regarding all the technical skills and all the experience, we can allow you to experiment before you go.
Thank you.
I don't know if you have any more questions, Ines.
For now, that's all.
Okay. So thank you very much to Pilar and Carlos for this session. I hope that all the information that we shared here is important to our tendencies. So, and I expect to to see you again in other webinars, or to have further talks about how we can help you change your infrastructure, your services, and bring you to the digital transformation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.